What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League yet again. And I will start off by saying, I feel bad. I feel bad that every time I've talked about this game, after probably like 2 weeks when the game came out, right? Every time I talk about it, it's been a negative, okay? That's fair. I think you can maybe criticize me on that. You could also maybe criticize the game and the company, okay? It put me into the situation. Would I like to make 100 Wonder Woman videos all positively? I sure would, and I've done that. And then sometimes you get a copyright strike thrown at you, and you say, what am I supposed to do? What do I talk about if I get struck down for doing the simplest things? Anyway, I wanted to address this. I wanted to try to address it a little bit differently than other people. Because I did not, and this is truthful, I did not want to turn on the camera and just say, what a garbage dump, what a terrible, like over and over and over, right? Just whine. I kind of want to address what happened over the last couple of weeks with this game and where I see it, the next little while. And what that really boils down to is, well, in terms of the news, delaying Season 2 2 days before launch, I don't think it could get worse. I don't think you could possibly come across like you don't know what's happening inside your studio more than doing something like that. I get things have changed. And I guess this is important to throw out there, right? I'm not targeting anybody. I think it's honestly a byproduct of what's happened. The game came out. The game failed by all metrics that are probably important to them. Seemingly, the team is working on some sort of like game of the year type thing for Hogwarts Legacy. They're not working on Suicide Squad. That's why I don't really care to talk about it, because it's like the one thing I want is the conclusion, and we'll talk about that in a second as this video goes. I want to see the conclusion, and I do want one other thing we'll also mention, but ultimately, if they're not working on it, they're not working on it. Like, what do I expect? What does anybody expect? They're a skeleton crew that's currently working on Suicide Squad Season 2. That's just how it is. You can get mad at that. That's totally fine. But that's literally the situation. So, I guess with that being said, you still have optics. You still have how things look. So when you announce Mrs. Freeze over here, which I'm not going to sit here and also tell you this is a good design. I don't think this is a good design at all. When you do that, and then when you do Season 2, I think delaying Season 2 was almost a worse look than what's going to be in Season 2. Season 2 gets delayed 2 days before it comes out. Now it comes out at the end of the month. And, like, what is it even going to do? At this point, no, I'm not saying cancel it. In fact, the opposite. But what is it going to, like, I'm genuinely curious and serious. What is Season 2 going to do for this game? I want to know. I want to see it. I didn't go back for Joker. Didn't. After seeing what literally was Joker, didn't see the point. And I'm not going to, as I've said 1,000 times, and again, criticize me if you want, I'm not going to sit here and, like, pretend for you. And I don't think that's fair to you. I don't think it's fair to say, I'm going to play Joker when I'm just not feeling it. I'm not saying you can't enjoy Joker. Enjoy Joker. Enjoy the game. That's fine. That's always been my mindset. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm so freaking pumped to play Joker. I'm going to play him for like 2 weeks straight. And then I'm going to lie to you in a video and say, like, how excited I was to be back. I'm not doing that. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to lie to you. And and I got to be real. It's the exact same thing for this. Like, as of right now, I do not plan to play Suicide Squad at least Season 2. Like, if you were to do whatever, like the final act and it's like heavy story content or whatever, yeah, I do believe I'd be back for that. But like Season 2, I'm not playing Season 2 unless you actually give me a viable reason, like a real reason to me to pick up that game. So in terms of, what's your opinion on what's been going on and where we're at now, that's my opinion. Like, there's just little care, because I just don't think things are improving. I don't think things are going in the right way. In fact, things are continuing to go downhill. Like, that's the way that it is. In terms of, again, okay, I don't want to sit here and just whine. Let's talk about some wants, okay? There's two things that I want. One is to have this game be completed, and that does scare me. Actually, both of these things scares me, because I'm wondering if we're going to actually get both of these things. At this point, do we really expect it to keep going? And the answer could be yes, I suppose, but I'm feeling kind of down on it. So I don't know. Like, will we get a Season 3? Will it last into the fall? Will we get whatever it is, like over a Christmas time, like a holiday thing? Like, is that going to happen? And you can go back to like the old rumors, some of which I guess have been proven true, some of which haven't. Are we going to get, say, a Season 4 at the end of this year that's going to bring back the Justice League? Like, is that actually going to happen? And the answer to that is I don't know. I guess I don't know fully if it was even real in the first place. And number two, even if it is real, what if it doesn't happen? What if they don't get to that point, right? So That would just be, and that's like the final bad look of the game, right? Because now that you could argue with the studio. You could say, if you need, and I've said this, if you need a year to tell the full story of the game, you've already done it wrong. I mean, you can argue with me day and night, but that you'll never change my mind on that. If the game somehow, right, say doesn't make it to season 4, you don't get and we get like an announcement and they say, we had an ending, we had a plan, we weren't able to tell the plan. That is an immediate failure on the studio, I believe, because you need to get that plan in the base game, not a year later. That goes back to that age-old thing of relying on a game that's half full, half complete to carry you through and just add on the content over time. That has been the way the gaming industry has moved the last half decade or so. Terrible idea. And you're going to see it potentially play out with this, okay? So that is something I want and I hope for. I don't really even care the quality at this point. I want to see, and I think I've been very consistent on this even when I reviewed the game. Let me see the end of their story. There's something to be said about, like, do they deserve, like, was this the right structure to put the story like this? The answer is no. But I do want to see it through. I want to see, what they have to say, I guess, right? That's number one. Number two, we are sitting here in July, okay? Game came out in February. I want you to think about that. So, what? It's been 6 months. 6 months, if you can believe it. Maybe almost 2 the day. Close, but not exactly, right? We don't have an offline mode. That's tragic, and that's scary, and that's something that I have focused on so much on all of my channels over the last couple of years. I made the case for freaking Redfall, and I would make the case the exact same way for Suicide Squad. I don't care how anybody perceives including myself. I don't care the quality of the game. I don't care about the quality of Redfall. Don't care about the quality of Suicide Squad. Don't care about the quality of Naughty Bear. Don't care. Pick a bad game through your life. It should be preserved. That's it. There's no arguing it with me. It should be preserved. The fact is, we don't have an offline mode for Suicide Squad. They said it was going to come, but it was going to come after launch. We are sitting here 6 months later. They are struggling to give us Season 2, and I'm very worried they're not going to do it. Very worried that there's the skeleton crew of 10 people that are working, and they're probably working hard, by the way, because they're probably doing the job that they thought triple of them would do, and instead it's like a third. You know what I mean? I believe that. So actually, you might not like the design of Mrs. Freeze and whatever in God's name they do in Season 2. You may or may not like it. But I will say I almost give credit to the workers because I can almost guarantee you they are doing work that they did not expect to do at that capacity, right? But regardless, I don't care if it's 2 people working on the game. I don't care if it's 100 people working on the game. You said you were going to do an offline mode. It's so important for game preservation. You will lose this game over time if you don't do that. And you could say, well, it's lost. Like the game itself isn't good, so the game being lost is fine. That's not where I stand. That actually is a complete separate thing. Game can be whatever quality you want. It should be preserved. So that is something I worry about, not daily. I don't keep myself, awake at night thinking of this stuff, but it's something I do think about quite often where it's like if you can't even give us Season 2, if Season 2 is already later than expected and then you delayed it like a day or 2 before it was supposed to come out, why am I supposed to be confident that you're going to give me not just Seasons 3 and 4? That's also scary and also might not happen. But what about an offline mode? You're going to still give me that? Because it doesn't feel like you're going to give me it, right? And again, the situation's the situation. There's very few people working on it, but it all stemmed from somewhere. You can communicate. Their communication's been really bad. I'd say social media-wise, it's pretty terrible, and it's been terrible the whole time, including when the game was coming out. So that's on them. You know what I mean? Some things you can directly blame them for. Maybe they're not allowed to say certain things, and okay, I'll back off then. You know what I mean? I'm willing to be told who to blame. You tell me who to blame for the communication. You tell me who to blame for the 2-week delay. You tell me who to blame for why we don't have offline mode. I'm fully capable of not blaming anybody until we have a target. That's totally fine. But I do worry. I just am sincerely, and I hope and I think that makes me stand out. Not that I do it to stand out, but I do think that makes me different from other people that you might have listened to. At this point, I'm done with the quality. I almost don't care. I just want to see it through, and we can judge the quality, of course, but I want to see it through, and I want that offline mode. I don't care how good or bad the game itself is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.